Hello everyone and welcome back to Addo's Playtime. Today we're jumping back into Dyson Sphere, Rise of the Dark Fog. And in the last episode, we finished up some of these particle containers and got ourselves a decent little bus line going on here. It's not running at full capacity, but that's not important. We just needed a few of them so that we could get these massive logistics towers. Yes, planetary logistics. Now with these though comes a little bit of a problem, as we're going to need lots of the drones, and I mean lots of the drones. So I was thinking right here in the shadow of the planetary logistics, we'll probably make a whole bunch of drones using a planetary logistics to kind of get that done. So I think this is plenty of space to do the things that we want to do, and it shouldn't be too difficult. So as the sun rises on our current project, we are doing things in our typical Addo fashion. So we're basically, our end goal is going to be the logistics drones here. And so for all those, I've kind of laid out a, makeshift little factory that's going to tell us organized how we're supposed to do this. So we're going to continue to make our silicon ore here and then do the high purity silicon. We're also going to need some copper ingots, some iron ingots, some steel, and more iron and copper. And that's all going to go into our circuit boards. And then for the microcrystalline components, we're going to need the high purity silicon and the copper. So that's this line here. Then we're going to need those golden processors, the current meme that we're having to deal with. So those are not going to be too difficult because we'll just have those producing a few. And then we will need the steel and copper ingots to make the thrusters for the drones. So the drones are finally going to need some iron ingots, the golden processors, and the thrusters. That shouldn't be too difficult, and I think that we can use our brand new logistics towers here to do some kind of stuff, bringing in the copper and maybe the rocks into this. And then there's a beautiful little iron vein over here that I believe that we should be able to tap into and bring those lines where we need them to. So I'm going to kind of design a basic, smelting array and then into the factory down here. And then we can put all our manufacturers here, do all the smelting up top, have it real close to our planetary logistics, and then we can do that. In the background, I did a little bit of blueprint making some of these things, for future, and it's convenient because it's right now. All right, so I think that what we're gonna do is, if I remember correctly, these all exit to the right, and we can move our paths around as we need to. Now, I kind of need to have a little bit of space to bring some things down here, but for the most part, I think I can just start plopping these things in here. I really have no idea about how many we need. And then we can kind of do something like this with a little bit of shift enter to kind of overwrite anything that's in there. And then we'll put down a whole bunch of smelters. Now, what I'm thinking is maybe like copper, 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 and then these two can be used for the high purity silicon. And then we can get all of that going out of here. We can build out lines, come across and into this, and I think that'll work. And then on this side, we can have all of the iron smelting going down kind of this line. And then if we need to, we can also build out here because we're going to need some stuff going that direction. And this will give me actually a really good way of figuring out how many foundations I need to go this way. So that kind of gives us a good start, a good base. I should have enough materials to do things, and I can build out this side. We still have plenty of soil pile from our last little adventure of doing this. We'll need to start with the two inputs and probably put that like there, and maybe some more like here, but not so many of them. And actually we can probably delete two of these. That's more than enough for this side. And then this will probably be our circuit boards to begin with. And then from the circuit boards, we can come down here and we can do the microcrystalline on this level. then maybe the golden processors here. And then on the other side, we can have the thrusters being built here, and then we can have the drones finally being made somewhere in this area. And then we can have most of the materials coming down and going into said manufacturers that we need to. Okay, so I've expanded our foundations on this side to get us a little bit more stuff going on. I have all of the iron kind of marked where I want it to go, plus the steel. I've even brought in all of the iron from up there on the iron vein. I kind of did some weird shenanigans over here to make these things kind of top each other off constantly. I have, you know, 4 lines coming in down into 3. Yeah, it's kind of working, but I don't know. There may be a little bit of falter on the iron input. I also went over here and got all of our stuff kind of set up. Now, I am using this oil extractor, and I gotta be honest with you, I don't like this setup. This is not gonna work. I mean, I could probably cut out one of these, but I really feel like I should probably use these all. I just don't like the way this is set up. It's all wrong. And the way that the belt Mageddon was happening over here, we've got lines going up and over, and then it looks like, ugh, spaghetti right there. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling like this is the way that I want to set it up. And we've got our stuff being inputted into the planetary logistics, and I'm grabbing the materials that I need from way over here. We have a spare copper mine that we just are not really utilizing 100% over here. I have it going in 3 inputs there, and then lots of stone going into this one. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm just not feeling it over there. So yeah, I think that I just don't like this setup. It just doesn't look clean enough for me. I really think that I could clean this up and make this look way better than it currently does. Well, so, oh well, all that hard work, it's gone. Goodbye, 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 adios, sayonara, avidase. Oh boy, I worked all night on this, yes, and I decided that I wanted to move it 6 inches to the right. So anyways, that is the copper up here. We have the silicon being produced over here, and then the high purity silicon down here. Now, I imagine that this is probably not going to be enough silicon to make all those go, but you know, we're hoping. Over here, we have 2 lines of iron being smelted, and then another line of copper that we're going to bring across and over. And the reason I did that was to make all of these lines nice and flat as possible. Now, I know that we've got some kind of shenanigans going on here, but it's only to keep that copper topped off as much as we can. So then we're going to have the iron coming across here, and it's going to loop back around to make our steel. And then our steel comes down, goes into here, and it'll be steel bars. So the last thing we need to set up are the drones and the thrusters. So we'll use our 3 input to put this right about, I don't know, maybe, actually, we should probably put that one down here. This one will be the drones one. And that way we can bring our thrusters back around to make the drones, because we'll need the thrusters, the golden processors, and a little bit of iron. So we'll have the golden processors come back up and around here, and then the iron come down and in, and then the thrusters will be made in this line, which only need 2 inputs. So we'll use this guy to make the same input like so, and then we'll have all of those thrusters and all of those drones being made right here. So all we have to really do is kind of hook up the logistics on this part. So the steel is going to come across and go into there, and then I believe to make the thrusters we need steel and copper, which conveniently is right there. So we'll bring that copper line down and in, and then we need this iron to be, actually we'll go like on the bottom with that iron, and then we can bring the golden processors straight across. And what was the last thing? Ah, yes, the thrusters. So we can just reverse this line once it's built, and then the output of this can go down and into here, and boom, thrusters on the belts. Oh yeah, that's easy peasy squeezy lemons. What? Oh, anyways. And then what we'll do too, because all this was designed with the Mark I belts, we'll just go ahead and upgrade everything, because we're pretty much living on the Mark II belts at this point. We may have to go do a giant upgrade path. Oh no, Edis Pupus 4 is under attack. It'll be fine. We've looked in on it a couple times. No biggie. So the last thing we need to do is hook up these belts and let everything just get rocking. Pun intended. And rolling. So we'll get all these ores rolling, and we'll see about making sure. Oh, there's our logistics tower going crazy because we're actually using the product. Now, I don't know if this is going to be enough iron. That's kind of my big question. I don't know if it's going to produce enough to get everything kind of where it's supposed to be, but everything else should run pretty efficiently. Everything is going to have what it needs to get things rolling. So as we can see, our microcrystalline processors are being made, and then that is going straight into the gold processors as soon as they pick up their circuit boards. And then that's going to come across here, and we're going to get some drones made. Yes, because like I said in the last episode, making things by hand, that's for rookies. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and let this kind of play off in the background while we just kind of, you know, do some other things, because there's two things we really want to get into this time. One of them is the structure matrices, and that is the yellow blocks. So to get our yellow blocks, we're going to need some of these crystal things. I think it's diamonds and something else. So to get the diamonds, we need titanium. Oh, titanium. Man, we brought all that titanium. I do not want to make trips back and forth to that planet again. And some of this organic crystals. So the organic crystals is made with plastic, the refined fuel, and water. So that's going to be a whole thing as well. So let's go ahead and activate these. We've got plenty of red cubes, and then I believe we'll probably get some other things. I'll probably knock out some of these things that require cubes that we have stored up. I mean, I don't see why not. I think that the deuterium fractionation, that would be really good, because I believe deuterium is a fuel source, and that would be pretty handy to have something better than what we're using. Another thing that we're going to need is the super magnetic field generators. And again, it just takes the simple cubes that we are making, so it's not too big a deal. But I believe that the next thing we really need to look at is power, because power is starting to become a problem again. Now that we have a few planetary logistics up and going, they are drawing a lot of power. And if we don't keep these things charged up, we won't be getting any of our good stuff that we need to keep these drones going alone. And as we want to litter our planet with flying fortress drones, we're gonna have to think about the power. So we did a little bit of a power fix here where we were just burning off a lot of the stuff that we weren't really using, but we do have quite a bit of the refined oil that's coming in here. So I'm thinking about putting a whole bunch of power generation right here and pulling off this fuel and into it. And then we can probably split and merge some things here so that we can burn all the fuel off of these oil refineries, the hydrogen and the refined oil, and then maybe put in extra of these. So yeah, I think that the big plan would be is to put a few foundations in to get this kind of scooted out here a little bit, and we'll probably just do it kind of the way we've been doing it the whole time, just going out, boop, 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 putting a bunch out this way. I don't know how far, and then we'll go as high as we can with these and link them all together as we always do. Oh baby, now that is some power production. Ooh yeah, look at all that sweet fuel being processed into energy. So that pretty much solves our power problem for the foreseeable future until we start getting more planetary logistics going. So we are generating a ton of megawatts. and we're using the majority of it. Now, we're not even using all of the fuel from here. I did some merging in things and made things priorities so that we always get the sulfur that we need, but we're not even burning all of this fuel up. It's still getting stacked up. Yeah. And I'm trying my best to burn as much of it as I can, but I think that's enough for now, and we can always add on to it in the near future. So what's the next thing on the agenda? It's time to add the yellow science, but before we do that, I want to make the science better. This has worked for us for this amount of time, and we've got quite a bit of cubes all stored up and everything, but I want to like centralize it better. I want to get away from this kind of line and that kind of line and all of the kind of stuff. And with our planetary logistics, we can bring over the materials we need from our main bus, or we can make it here. My plan is to utilize all of this space right here to make a giant kind of centralized place for science. So I'm thinking that we'll have all of our science researched up at the top, and then underneath it, each line will just make one of the other sciences. There's quite a bit of space here to utilize, and I think we could get away with putting the majority of it right here and up here as well. So we will have to move some lines around and do some silly things, but if I think about it, like I could put one chunk of the science here, skip that stone vein, and then bring more science down here. But to do all that, I really feel like we need to get in on a lot of the science that we are kind of neglecting. We could probably upgrade our mech a lot more. There might be a few things that we can do. So we can get him faster. We can get better control. We could probably do mass construction. I mean, there's just a lot of little things that we could knock out in the background just to make sure. And then it'll also just burn up a lot of the things that we currently have. So, we can't do that one because it needed yellow. I'll go through here and grab a few things that I think we might need, and then we'll try to knock out some of the science in this area. I think it would be really good just to have centralized science. Okay, so I started out by just kind of laying out a basic design of kind of where we're going to put things. I think we're going to try to tuck it up in between these two stone veins to begin with. I don't know if I'll ever need these stone veins for anything else. If we need stone, there's plenty of stone around. So I think I'm just going to sacrifice these to science. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to probably need to put our main science research places across the top here, and then we're going to have blue science in kind of this area, and then we'll have red science here, and then whatever we need to make yellow science, we'll probably put it down in this area, because I think it needs quite a bit of stuff, but I don't really know what exactly it needs yet because I haven't looked at them, but we'll come to that when we get to it. I think we just really need to start off with making sure that we get the red science and the blue science all moved down. So the first thing I really want to do is just cut off science making altogether. We'll just boom, boom, make this thing stop making science. So that way we can move everything over where we want it to be. So I'll just take these things down, take these things down, and just let the science just be there. I mean, we've got so many containers of science right now. I really didn't think that we don't need that much science, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna also just let these things store up. I don't want to have it on the belt anymore. I wanted to take it and put it in to the storage so that we kind of have an idea of how much of each science that we do have. So any of these that are kind of making them go out, we're just picking it all up. All the science is getting picked up now. Okay. And then across the top here, what I'm thinking about doing is having maybe 4 of these across like so, and then have lines feeding each science into it coming in. So like we'll have one for blue, one for red, one for yellow, and then I don't really know how many sciences there are. I think it goes all the way up to white. So we'll probably need 3 more on each side. I'm not really sure. We may need to put a bit of a gap in between this so that we can get our power in between it, but this is kind of where it's going to end. And I think it's a good place because it comes across that funky line that we don't like to build beyond. So everything below this will all be the science for blue science, red science, and sciences to come in the future. The first thing to do would be to get our blue science kind of up and running. And all we need for the blue science, magnetic coils and the circuit boards. So that's pretty easy stuff. It's very basic things that we need for that. And we have plenty of copper and plenty of iron over here to make our first set of science. Now, when we get to the hydrogen and things of that nature, it might be a little bit more difficult to get the red science. Maybe we'll bring it in on a planetary logistics. I don't really know yet, but we have moved this line over and made it a little tighter. So let's kind of lay out what we think we're going to need over here to get the blue science. Okay, so blue science completed, and we did pretty good. We were able to bring everything over here, and I went ahead and just smelted it on site. It's going to be quick and easy. I don't quite have the copper and everything hooked up yet, but that's because we had tons of copper laying over here. I just kind of deleted all this stuff. I can bring these copper lines over at any time that I want. But to be honest with you, I have so much of the blue science already made up. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, we have several stacks of this stuff and most of them are full. So it's kind of like, yeah, that's a lot of blue science. So we'll probably burn through all of that before we even really need to hook this up. I don't know. I mean, I can only imagine that the sciences in the future will need thousands of science to get things done. But this is the basic design that I want to go with. And so here we are, ready to make the red science. So the first thing we really need is the energetic graphene, and we have some left over from previous projects. And I'm thinking I'm just gonna erase the things that we had, bring in the one energetic graphene or the one coal miner in here to make the energetic graphene. Now, how many of these do we really need? I really don't have any idea. I don't think we were really gauging it the last time. So I'll probably just, do my normal setup of 5. Actually, we have a blueprint for that. So let's use our blueprint so it'll be much better. Ah, yes, the blueprint of 5. So we'll go ahead and put it here because that's kind of where I've got it designated to be. And then we'll put the second one there and we'll just do a line of 2 of them like that. It doesn't seem like it's too bad of an idea. But in the meantime, what we'll do is we'll use up this energetic graphene that we have to come across here and into our red science. So I think if we just reverse this one and then probably come up and over, I think we'll go into the closer one and then hook that up. Oh, that's too far. Hook that up like so. Easy peasy. Now, the other thing, yikes, it's going to be the hydrogen. Now, I kind of saved up as much hydrogen as I could, but I realized that they only stack in 20. So the only option we really have is to kind of go pull from an old source that we're using for power, or we can pull from a new source that's not too far away and then just use the logistics towers to bring it over where we need to. We're probably going to have to bring some other stuff over there, so putting a logistics tower somewhere over there is not a bad idea. Now, I don't know how many of these I'm going to make, so I decided to kind of put a little bit of power going on here. We'll just burn the fuel that we don't need. Maybe we'll put it in the logistics tower. I made this double refinery here, and we're just going to copy paste that sucker down this line. I've already got most of this coming in here and into this splitter. I don't really remember how many of these I can run off of this stuff, but yeah, we're just going to copy paste this across here and go like so. And then boom, we've got another one sitting right here. Now, again, these are going to basically use the exact same inputs and outputs on each side. We may have to do a little bit of kind of finagling to get it just right, but it should be a pretty basic design. And I think, I don't know, I put my belt all the way out to here kind of in the hopes that I would be able to go that far with it, but I don't know how many I'm going to need. As well as, like, I don't really know. I made this so that I could kind of bring off some if I'm making enough, and I can bring this particular line out of here down and kind of snake it into here if I need to break this up. But yeah, that's the oil refineries set up just fine. Now, the next thing we'll need is the transportation. So we'll put a logistics tower. I guess we can put it somewhere like here and then have this thing go directly into it. And it's going to input all of the good stuff into this logistics tower. So we'll have to populate it with drones. It's got power right here. So we'll just go ahead and throw some drones in here, or select the hydrogen and then throw the drones in there, because we have a few of them being made now that we have them automated. And so we could put this as supply. Yep. And I think we'll be good. So we just need to finish up this refinery area and then go from there. All right, so everything is set up. It should work as soon as I connect these little belts right here. So let's just put that over like so. Make sure that everything is good. Recipes are set. And we don't have any injectors. All right, sorters engaged. So now it shouldn't be too bad. The big thing will be just making sure that we burn off all of this excess fuel. So we'll just go ahead and hook this up, and it should get that going right away, burning all that fuel up. As soon as we have some sorters in other places that we should probably have them. Yeah. Man, sorters being the order of the day, I guess. So we'll let that just burn through all of that fuel, bringing it into this hydrogen here. And as you can see, it's already starting to kind of accumulate pretty quickly. Yeah. So now we just got to get all of that over here to where we're making our science. So we'll probably put another interplanetary logistics tower. And I think right here would be the spot, because again, I don't know what I'm going to need for the other stuff, but a couple towers can probably fit right here pretty easily, and we can just bring in the supplies that we need here. I don't know how much space each one of these things needs to put next to each other, but we'll find out in the very near future, I'm sure. So I think I'm just going to set this one kind of off a little bit like so, right in the middle of that line. And then we will put our drones in there, and we will tell it to demand the hydrogen. Now it's going to need power so that we get the maximum as we can possibly get out of this thing. And that way it starts charging its drones. But that is going to be our hydrogen coming over here. Now, with our graphene already made and coming across, all we really need to do is belt that stuff over here. So yeah, that should actually be pretty easy. We'll choose one of the far end ones, tab over to select that, and we'll just nuzzle it right up against all this stuff maybe? I don't know. We may find a better place for it in the very near future. But for right now, I think that's it. And that is going to be our red science getting made. So now that we have the blue science and the red science, I think the last of the science that we need is starting in on the yellow science. So what do we need for the yellow science? Well, let's find out. We need diamonds and titanium crystals. Titanium? Really? Oh, I mean, we've got quite a bit of it, but honestly, if we're making a whole bunch of yellow science, this isn't going to last us very long. Ugh. Man, yeah, I really thought we were going to be using this for other things, but I guess we're going to be making crystals out of it. All right, so I've got a few items over here set up from previous exploration. So how do we make the diamonds? So the first way to do it is just to turn the energetic graphene into diamonds. The other way is using some kind of ore that we've never heard of. Kimberlite ore? I don't even know where to get that. It says it's extra rare. Okay, well, maybe we find that on a different planet, but at least we know how to make those. Now, how do we make the titanium crystals? Well, is that in a smelter as well? No. What about a manufacturer? Titanium crystals are manufactured. Okay, so it's going to need titanium and organic crystals for that. So I can manufacture that here, but it's going to need 3 inputs. And how do you do logs? Like, those are just things I harvest. I guess we could make a few of them in manufacturers, but that doesn't seem very good. So the next option would be to try out a chemical plant, and there it is, organic crystals. and it's going to need plastic, refined oil, and water. But the question is how do we make plastic? I don't think we've made that yet either. So we make plastic in the chemical factory, and it's going to require refined oil and more energetic graphene. So we need actually a lot of energetic graphene all of a sudden. Wow, I did not expect that. So to start everything off, I think we'll craft a couple planetary logistics towers here, and then we'll plop one down and we'll find a way to get the maximum yield into our planetary logistics. And then we'll just run 3 belts just into it like so, and have our sorters come out like that. And bam, we'll just try to maximize the titanium in this thing, and it's going to be supply. So we'll empty out all of our titanium into this place. All right, so the classic me always wants a little diagram. So here is what we've got. The making of the diamonds is not too difficult. It's just energetic graphene into diamonds. Easy peasy. 2 smelters. That'll be the easiest part of this. But to make the organic crystals, we're going to have to put in a little bit of a production line. So to make the plastic for the energetic crystals, we'll need more graphene and some refined oil. So those 2 things will come into the first chemical plant, get spit out. Some more fuel will come out and then go into this. Now we'll get water from somewhere else. I'm kind of feeling like this little reservoir here will just move our hydrogen line a little bit over. It'll be fine. We can do some little bit of shenanigans there, but I am thinking about requesting some fuel here. I'm pretty sure we could probably get it off of our brand new place that we built up here. We could probably shirk off a bit of that fuel to go into this thing, and it should be easy peasy lemon squeezy. So just like that, we'll split it off. We'll tell this thing that it needs to be the supplier of said refined fuel, and there we go. It's sending it off to that way. Now on these things, we can filter that it always prioritizes putting it in here. That way we always have it, and we can still hook this up to there so that no matter what, we're producing, getting rid of the refined oil and producing the hydrogen. I'm sure we'll need that hydrogen for something later. Okay, so with all that figured out, now it's just time to kind of lay out the factory. I think that it should be pretty easy. I'm going to probably lay out the diamonds first. It'll be smelting and done, and we probably will tee off of this coal. We may even put in some more coal miners over here and add a secondary line that comes off and maybe is on top of this one and goes into a splitter slash merger, and then we can split slash merge off of there and into a diamond factory. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do it. I can't see that there be any problem. All right, so I got these kind of set up here. The diamonds are going good in the background. They're just making all the diamonds in the world. And then we have a second lane of energetic graphene that's coming around and getting supplied into here. Now we left enough space that we can get up and around and put the plastic where we want. So these are spitting out the plastic onto this line. Energetic graphene is coming there. And I think all we have to do is hook up our refined oil right here. So I thought I had hooked it up, but maybe I didn't because I'm on the wrong lane, but let me correct that mistake. All right, and there it comes around the corner into our plastic production. All I need to do now is just hook up a little bit of power, and this thing will start kicking off in a hurry. Boom, plastic is made. So we'll probably set up a second set of these on the other side, and then, or maybe improve our design. I'm also in the background just burning up through all of the red and blue science that I possibly can. As you can see, our science is going crazy over there. So yeah, I'm just trying to burn up what's in our boxes. I literally went through everything and just started clicking on things that had red and blue. And then that was that. From what I can tell, we can knock off all of these things and that. So we are ready to just kind of do this last crystal and get it going, and then bringing over our titanium we could probably say even to start supplying that over here. So, or demanding it, I'm sorry. So we'll have that get demanded and they'll fly off and go get that in the background of space. And then I think we're right up against this stone vein. I might try to finagle some stuff in here. Maybe do things vertically. I don't like doing that, but we may have to just to fill out this space. If not, we'll just leave it blank and move it down here. So let me get that set up and we'll see what that looks like. All right, so everything is set up. Everything is hooked up. All we have to do is set the recipes and these guys will get moving. So we have our water coming in from actually a different place. So I just went ahead and brought in the water. I didn't want to kind of mess with this space here because I didn't know how many I would need. So over in the far distance, we have another logistics tower with a whole bunch of water set up over there. So that's where it's coming in from. Hopefully it'll supply enough. Now, the last thing I need to do is just, like I said, set the recipes. So it'll output all of its crystals onto this line, go over here. Titanium's already set up. Let's kick this thing off and see about getting those titanium crystals up and running. And there they go, titanium crystals. Oh boy, those are an expensive endeavor, that's for sure. All right, so this and the diamonds just need to be hooked up so that we can get them into here, making the yellow science. So we'll set our recipe in these guys, bam. And we'll hook up our belts and we'll wait for our first science to be made. Oh man, this has been quite an adventure actually to get these first sciences made up. And there they are, the yellow cubes. Oh, praise be the golden cubes. So we've already hooked them up to the line so that they could start using these and we could probably start doing some science with them right away. There we go, structure matrices made for us. Fantastic. I love it. What a milestone. Oh, man, this was quite a bit of manufacturing for this one. I'm very surprised how difficult these things were to make. I mean, there was quite a few processes and new recipes that we had to kind of get. So if you enjoyed what you saw today, don't forget to like and subscribe as it does help out the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can be alerted of any time any Dyson Sphere gets uploaded to the page. Hit one of the buttons at the end of the screen so you can see what else we've played. And don't forget to keep gaming for the love of games. Bye now.